Hey boys, welcome back to some Nrl Supercoach 2023. It's going to be the round 1 review, and as you can see, 1,111 points, top 11%, just all the goddamn 11s here, and the rank for the round sitting at that, 14,799 spot. It was, honestly, it was a strange week. I felt like a lot of my players did pretty well, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty in a second, but there's definitely a couple of spots that I am a bit worried about in the team. But let's us jump straight over to the team. Why is it? It's all weird. It's all different. But let's go straight into the actual meat and potatoes of it here. So starting out, Brandon Smith, 38 points, not good. And the dummy half is definitely a spot of a bit of worry. I gotta say, like, this was a strange game. Like, Brandon Smith obviously copped a bit of a head knock. He went off fairly early. He came back on after a while. Then Victor Radley got knocked out, so Turpin played dummy half, and Brandon Smith looked like he just played at lock for a good chunk. Smith, oh man, watching Smith can be an absolute nightmare. Like, it looks like he looked like he was out on his feet so many times in this game. He looked like he picked up an injury, a head knock. Like, watching him is an absolute disaster. And I gotta be honest, I'm not feeling confident. Like, like, the Roosters are definitely going to click into gear a bit more. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. Brandon Smith, I am half tempted. Like, I'm not going to trade him now, but I got to be honest, if he doesn't perform well in the next couple of weeks, he is on the chopping block as a potential, like, upgrade to a genuine gun, and just rid myself of him. But yeah, obviously we're giving him another couple of weeks to see what he can do. Hopefully no more concussions. But the problem is, like, Smith doesn't play like that. Like, the way the game is now, like, all it takes is for a player to just stay on the ground a little bit, and they're going to take them off. The independent doctor is going to take them off for 10 minutes to check them out. And Smith, the way he tackles, the way he rushes out of the line, that shit's going to happen constantly, so I'm very nervous. And then our backup here, Tanner Boyd, also didn't look great. And the biggest problem here is that the Titans, this was also a bit of a strange one, because the Titans, I actually thought the Titans were pretty impressive. Like, the Tigers had so much football. The Titans were defending that whole game, and their defense was good. Like, the Tigers threw a fair bit at them, and the Titans, they have never been known to be a defensively strong team, but they held out pretty well in that game. The amount of possession the Tigers had, and the amount of opportunity. Like, the Tigers weren't just rucking it up and kicking it on last. They were throwing it around. So I was impressed with the Titans defensively, and they didn't get that much chance on attack, but when they did attack, it all went left with Kieran Foran and Fafita, which is good for Fafita. But Tanner Boyd, like, he barely touched the footy. He obviously got one try assist, I think, from a kick. He missed a couple of goals, I think. He got a couple of goals as well, and he made a fair few tackles. But yeah, Tanner Boyd, he's another guy that, there's no rush to trade him out. And that was, this sort of, I guess, makes, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes more sense as to why I have, like, a deeper squad. Like, I didn't need to play Tanner Boyd, so that was nice, not copying the 35 points. But yeah, the dummy half is definitely an area of contention at the moment. But I'll actually have a look to see how other dummy halves actually scored, because I know Grant scored well, and I'm pretty sure Cook scored well as well, but I'm not actually sure about that. I'll check after. The front row, honestly, I'm pretty stoked with the front row. Christian Welsh, 67. Obviously, Tarpany only 57. But again, this I keep saying they're all weird games apparently, but Tarpany, the Raiders against the Cowboys, honestly, that first 20, 25 minutes, the Cowboys must have had like 90% possession. The Raiders did not touch the footy at all. So Tarpany, his first stint was basically just defense. And the fact he still was able to manage 57 points with just tackling in his first stint, I'm pretty happy. Obviously, it makes it a bit annoying because some other of the, Carrigan. Actually, can you get... Carrigan's not a front row forward in this, is he? That's a bit of a pain in the ass. But Payne Haas killed it. Tohu Harris killed it. So it makes it a bit annoying. But I'm still very happy with Tarpany. Like, he's just such a set and forget. And the Raiders need Tarpany to play big minutes and play well for them to be any shot of doing anything in the NRL, if we're being honest. So, I'm happy with Tarpany. Christian Welsh, obviously, fantastic. I was very surprised he got 67 points. I mean, he offloaded a couple of times, but it didn't feel like he was offloading as much as usual. But yeah, just the work rate. I mean, they did go to Golden Point, so a few extra tackles probably in there as well. And then the reserves. So this is why I'm happy with the front row, because I didn't have to play Utakamanu. I gotta be honest, he didn't look that good. Now he got 40 points. It's okay. But yeah, I don't know. The Tigers just have so many middle forwards, and the problem now, even though Utakamanu is starting, fucking David Clemmer is playing massive minutes at the Tigers. That there has to be other minutes for, like, Offengawi was on the bench, Pole was on the bench, someone else. Well, Kapaola was on the bench, but he obviously came on for Sean Bloor, who got ruled out with concussion. So good, man. Sean Bloor. I don't know how many people. Probably a fair few people did have Sean Bloor. That's an absolute kick in the guts. He gets ruled out with concussion. He just. Oh man. So you can't even really get a grasp on how he would have gone. But Utakamanu. He's a good backup, and that's why I'm happy that I've gone with like two better front row options. And then Pele, oh no, Pele, 8 points. My man, he only played fucking 10 minutes. I honestly don't understand this. Now, obviously, he came up with one error while he was on the field, which isn't great. But he's he only would have had like 2 or 3 runs, and every run he made, he busted tackles and looked dangerous. I don't understand why he only had 10 minutes. Now, Pele, obviously, he's not going to be like a 40-plus minute front rower. Clearly, he's an impact forward. But what? Surely he could play 25, 30 minutes, either side maybe of half-time or something like that. What? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I think the Dogs, the use of the bench was fucking very strange in general. But I don't know. I mean, Pele, I'll talk about it later, but I'm not... He is probably the one guy that I am very much considering trading this week. And it's not because, I think I've got to get rid of him, because obviously prices don't change. But the fact is, before round 3, before the first price changes, you do want to sculpt your team to make it as good as possible before the changes. So, it is nice to save trades, but if you're leaving yourself with you got to get rid of 4 players in a week, and then you've got to decide who you're going to just keep in there. Sometimes you got to bite the bullet and get rid of a guy that is going to be an absolute stinker. And Pele, I'm undecided, but we'll continue here. The back row, up and down. The back row, oh man, oh no. And for those that saw my last video, the pre-lockout for round 1. Oh, there's absolute heartbreak here. So Dave Fafita killed it, 83. He looked really, really good. Luke Garner, 36. Fucking atrocious. So Luke Garner is probably... I mean, he's obviously on the chopping block. I think Luke Garner is a guy I'm definitely giving another week to. But honestly, it doesn't matter what his score is next week. If he scores 2 tries and gets 100, well, if he goes if he gets 2 tries and scores over 100, I probably won't trade him. But it does more matter how many minutes he plays. If he gets subbed off in this 50-odd, 60-minute mark and Semen replaces him again, he's gone. He's gone from the team because he needs to be playing 70 plus minutes to be worth it. So it comes down to next week what happens. Even if he gets a decent score in 60 minutes, he's got to go, I think. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week with the Panthers. I honestly don't. I don't get it. Like, Semen is not Jamin Semen is not a NRL level back rower, so I don't really understand why he would replace him, but that is what happened. Jermaine Hopgood, good lord, this man is a monster. 101 points, and I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, obviously, like, some offloads and stuff, but this pretty much just base stats. Like, he didn't get a line break, he didn't get a try, he didn't get a try assist, he got 100 points. Obviously, a few extra minutes with Golden Point. He played the whole game. Now, I wouldn't be expecting that to keep up, because obviously they do have a couple of forwards to come back. I mean, Sean Lane, Ryan Madison. I mean, Madison is the one guy that I think is going to stuff Hopgood a bit, because I think they do like Madison through the middle. So, yeah. I don't know. Hopgood, I actually think Madison's going to really fuck Hopgood. And it's going to be absolutely devastating, because he's going to be this absolute Supercoach god for a few weeks, and then Madison's going to come back on the bench and ruin his minutes. So, but we'll see. We'll see what actually happens. Maybe Madison goes to the back row, because obviously their back row is pretty weak. Because, yeah, Sean Lane will be back on one edge, but do you keep Bryce Cartwright or Matt Dury on the other edge? I don't know. I don't think either of them are really up to NRL standard. But I mean, they're okay. But I would think Madison, like, personally, I would think Madison, Lane, and Hopgood is just a really good edge and lock starting. But they do like Madison through the middle, so we'll see. Teague Wilton, 66. I mean, he got a try off a kick, so he got like 50 points regardless, which is pretty good. I'm pretty content with Wilton. I mean, all the mid-range back rowers all fucking stunk. They were fucking worthless, apart from one dude. Apart from goddamn Lachlan Fitzgibbon, who was in my team in pre-lockout, but I was a coward. I chickened out, and I got in Egan Butcher, who got 36 points. He got sin-binned. There were his work rate was pretty good. I mean, if he didn't get sin-binned, he would have got over 50 points. Like, you add on the, what is it, -8 or -10. So you add on 10 points, and then all the stats he would have got in those 10 minutes he was off. So he would have been over 50 points, which is pretty okay, considering he didn't really have any attacking stats. But I don't know. Like, honestly, I'm sort of hoping he does get suspended, so I can just there's no sort of qualms about pissing him off. I won't be concerned at all just getting rid of him. But that's one of those ones that's going to be a heartbreaker the whole season. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, I don't know what he ended up with. I think he probably got like 70 to 80. The fact oh man, but it's funny because I did put money on Fitzgibbon to score the first try. Oh man, so you'd wonder why I didn't have him in my team, but it was sort of a bet each way, because if he didn't score the first try, then I wouldn't have been that upset that I got rid of him, and if he does score the first try, then I still won money off it. But yeah, the fact that, I mean, the funny thing about it, Fitzgibbon, Ponga can make bad forwards look good, and he makes Fitzgibbon look really good. Like, Fitzgibbon, Ponga is, man, I think Ponga is an absolute star. Even with the amount of Ponga haters is crazy to me. I think Ponga is an absolute class player, and he makes Fitzgibbon look so dangerous on that left edge. Man, he looked unstoppable at times. Defensively, though, Fitzgibbon is fucking atrocious. He came up with some terrible missed tackles, some terrible reads in defense. So, I mean, I don't think he's going to get dropped, because I don't think the Knights really have anyone better to fill the spot. But, oh man, I'm honestly so upset I didn't stick with him. And honestly, if Egan Butcher is suspended, do I just go to Fitzgibbon? I don't have any Knights play. Well, I got Lockie Miller, but I don't know. I mean, Ponga just makes him look so dangerous, that left edge, and the Knights have a good draw. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Egan Butcher's even suspended. And then Bryce Cartwright got 59 points. So I'm happy with that. Like I said, I doubt... I don't think Cartwright's going to hold the spot after like week 4, but if he can just get some decent scores in the next couple of weeks and get some nice price increases, then yeah, you know, beauty. That'll be very, very handy, and we can work it out then. The halves, again, up and down. Cleary, 53. Again, I mean, he should have got less points in this. Let's be real. Like, they do love giving Cleary just random points. Like, he got a line break assist for something, like, he didn't do anything. I don't understand. Like, some of the points he gets given is honestly fucking baffling. But he got 53 points. As an owner, I guess I'm happy with. Sammy Walker, 62. I don't know what he was on at halftime, but he probably got most of these points at halftime because he looked pretty good in the first half. He got a nice try assist. He ran the footy a few times, kicked a couple of goals, and then the second half it just went to shit for the Roosters, and the Dolphins were incredible. Adam Dewey, 89 points, absolutely killed it. He was honestly the only guy from the Tigers that really looked like busting the Titans. So I'm definitely happy I went with Dewey over Burden. I mean, thank God Burden played the trials and looked like shit in the trials. Otherwise, I would have gone with Burden, who probably, I don't know what he got, maybe like 20 points in that game. He was shocking. So going Dewey over Burden, massive change there. And then Katoa, 42 points. I mean, you got to be happy with that. As a bottom dollar cheapie. And then the backline was pretty good. Nothing outstanding. You know, we didn't have any of the guys that went big. But they all went okay. Lockie Miller, 52. I'm still pretty happy with. I mean, he is, you know, we'll see. But the Knights, they do have a good draw coming up. Val Holmes, 63. Again, Holmes would have been on about this many points at halftime, but the Cowboys capitulated in that second half. They looked awful. They just kept dropping the footy and playing pretty poorly. But I mean, I still like the Holmes pickup. It would have been nice to have fucking Ruben Garrick, but I didn't have the money to get him anyway. Chance Nickel Clockstad, 70 points. I mean, I said it from the start. Like, I thought Clockstad was a bit of a lock for the team. I mean, obviously he got a try, and they were only versing the Knights, so you're not going to expect 70 points every week, but he looked busy, defensively great. Like, I don't know. I thought out of all those guys, Clockstad was the best. I mean, Fido as well scored really well, but I just like the Clockstad pickup. I think for the 330k, he was a bit of a slam dunk, I still think. And then Taruva, 39 points. Thank God he got 39 points, because before lockout, I was very, very tempted to play Khan Pereira over Taruva, because honestly, I thought the Broncos would defend pretty well, and the Titans were versing the Tigers, who, you know, they both those teams can concede points, but Khan Pereira, 5 points. Alamotti, 22. Khan Pereira, 5. Thankfully, Warbrick looks like he'll be a decent cheapie, because he's got pretty decent base. I mean, 30's not great, but I think Warbrick is a guy that he could get up a couple of $100,000, I reckon. Alamotti, though, I don't know. I'm sure that left edge will click eventually with Kikau and Adokari outside of him. So hopefully he can score okay. But Khan Pereira, oh man. We just need, you know, just a couple of tries in the first couple of weeks and try to shift him on quickly, I think, because any money he's going to make, he could lose it so quickly. So quickly. And then the fullbacks, this one hurts as well. This one really hurts, because I captained Tedesco. Again, playing too safe, dude. Like, Tom Trbojevic, 97. The whole time, I was like, you know what? Like, my round was going okay. It was like, it felt pretty average. And I'm like, you know what? I'm captaining Trbojevic. I think Trebojevic's going to come back with a bang. I think he's going to play really well. I think he's going to kill it. And he did. But I chickened out again and captained Tedesco, just because I thought, there's obviously there's the risk of Trbojevic, and the oh man, the funny thing about it, and if you did captain Trbojevic, you would have been spewing, because like 20 minutes to go in the game, KO Weeks came on and replaced Trbojevic. I think Trbojevic was still on a decent score, but not incredible. And then, so you would have been spewing, and I was like, oh, thank God I didn't captain him. And then all of a sudden, Lachlan Crokey gets knocked out, so KO Weeks goes to dummy half, and Trbojevic is back on a minute later, and you would have been rejoicing. So, Supercoach is a cruel and then sometimes beautiful game at times, but yeah, overall, I'm content, but a little concerned about a couple of positions. The fullbacks, fine. I mean, I know, I'm sure a lot of people are going to rage trade Tedesco out, but like, I don't know. I don't know why you would, really. Like, I know Mitchell would have scored pretty well. I mean, AJ Brimson would have killed it. He looked really, really good. I go, oh man. If there was one guy I would take a punt on, it would be Brimson. I probably would rather him at 5'8", but obviously I'm not going to trade out Dewey for Brimson, but he looked really good. Just, yeah, really on the ball. Just quick. I mean, Brimson's a little freaking rocket, dude. I love him. The back line, I'm pretty set on the back line, honestly, because depending what happens, like, easily I can downgrade a Miller to someone a little cheaper, and I can upgrade a Taruva or a Klokstad in a couple of weeks or later in the season to strengthen it. Or if I downgrade one of my mid-second rowers, which will happen. Like, that's the other thing why I'm not panicking, because there is a couple of... Well, Jackson Ford is one who is a very sneaky option now. I still want to see another week of Jackson Ford playing big minutes on the edge, but he's only 280k that you can easily downgrade Garner or Butcher. And there is Josh Schuster, who is basically bottom dollar. That is, he is always coming back into this team, and it's just a matter of who do I get rid of. And I can free up so much cash, again, going to him. I can upgrade one of these cheapy center wings to a star. So I'm not that concerned. That there was definitely a plan to bring Schuster back and work it out from there. But yeah, the halves are pretty set. I mean, eventually I would have liked to swing Walker up to Hines if it was available, but again, we don't even know when Hines is back, and yeah, I would need money to do that anyway. The back row is definitely an issue, and then the dummy half. The front row I'm pretty set on. Like, the cheapies, annoyingly, like, there was a couple of guys that went pretty well in the cheapie stakes, but the dummy half and the back row. So let's have a quick look. I'll do this for now. Tanner Boyd, we'll just trade out to see who went well. Wade Egan, 0.8% of teams had Wade Egan, 99 points. Harry Grant got 91. He got that try in Golden Point, which, oh man, it's an absolute killer. It's an absolute killer. 32% of teams have him too. Yeah, I mean, fair enough too, but I mean, at the end of the day, I was able to get like more depth in the squad without going Grant, so it's always a give and take. Jerry Marshall King, 89 points. I mean, Marshall King... if only he didn't start out so expensive, but he looked good. I mean, Reed Marnie's 75. Reece Robson got 74 points. Tom Starling, 73. Cook. So, yeah, Cook got 68. I wasn't sure about Cook. He went a bit lower. Josh Hodgson, 60. Hodgson got 60 points, which is fair. And then there's no one real... I mean, Sonny Luke is the guy. He got lucky because he only played like 20 odd minutes, but he got a try to bump up his score. So people that went him would have been spewing that he only came on in like 20 minutes to go, but he ended up scoring really well. So they got out of that one pretty safe. So Sonny Luke is the definite downgrade potentially. But yeah, anyone else, like, this is the tricky part. And Aaron Clark only 31 points, so thankfully I didn't go him. He's coming off the bench, so obviously his minutes weren't that good regardless. But Appy goes out 22 points. I mean, honestly, Appy is a guy to keep an eye on because his price is going to get real low. And I mean, surely the Tigers are going to start giving him more minutes. Like, that was insane. Like, him starting on the bench, I think, is pretty ridiculous. And then him going off with, like, 10 minutes to go was fucking insane, dude. What is happening? But he's a guy to keep an eye on. If he gets really cheap, like, I could definitely see myself picking up Coruscant. So, yeah. But this is the issue, right? Like, Sonny Luke, definite downgrade. But then, who do you go if you're going to upgrade? Like, honestly, at this point, Harry Grant, I think I'm just going to death ride him until after Origin because you know he's going to miss games over that time. I mean, Munster's out now with Pappenhausen. Like, Grant is still going to score well, but the attack you would expect to be down a bit. Do you... the pot of Wade Egan? I don't think so. Jerry Marshall King, Reed Marnie? Do I go back to Reed Marnie? 10% of teams? I don't know, dude. The dummy halves, they're a tricky one for sure. If we look at the cheap front rowers, so this is, I mean, it's annoying because, like, you know, I'm gonna have to wait, basically waste the trade getting rid of Pele because there are a couple of guys here that went okay. Where are they? Even if I don't even think, I couldn't even afford that. That was the issue. I didn't quite have enough money to go one of the better guys, which is, I mean, I could have made a bit of cash somewhere to do it, but at the time I thought Pele is a decent shout. But if we look, so David Mawale 42, Shaq Mitchell 49, but you got to remember both these guys, they played more minutes than you would expect because of Arrow and Junior Totola getting ruled out in the first half, but still, I still think both those guys would be decent potential cheapies. Sami Solo 42, it's okay. Hetherington only 27. Honestly, Hetherington looked awful, I gotta say. Sean Kepi only 40 points. He started off the bench, which I don't think affected his minutes too much. So the front row cheapies, they're a bit of a plotter this year, I think. Emre Gula. Oh, man, Emre Gula. Oh, man, I definitely talked up Emre Gula at some point in the preseason, but because it looked like he was starting on the bench, I definitely didn't go him, but I think he must have got a try, right? Yeah, he got a try in this one, but he is a try-scoring front rower at 340k, better than Utsukamanu, that's for damn sure. So, yeah, I don't know. It's probably the best, I guess, depending how Ben Murdoch-Masila goes as well. I think either Murdoch-Masila or Davey Mawale are probably the best options if we're going to get rid of Pele. So I think Pele is going to get one more week. And then the back row, so if we get rid of Butcher, who went well? We're going to see Lachlan Fitzgibbon is going to kill me. So, Josh King. Josh King played huge minutes. 96 points. Tohu Harris, 88 points on 80 minutes. Cameron Murray, 84 points. But again, Cameron Murray, he had to play 80 minutes because of what happened. So, I wouldn't be I think... I just want to say, I can understand people bringing him in. And, 40% of people have him. Which is scary, but I honestly wouldn't be rushing to bring Murray in. I just feel like his minutes were inflated. He's not going to keep playing 80 minutes. There's no way. Callum Matangi was good. Carrigan was really solid. Fitzgibbon, 74. Oh, man, it's just... Oh, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, dude. That's why you don't... your gut feel, you just don't change from your gut feel, but... That's what we did, unfortunately. Isaiah Papali'i could be a really good pickup in a couple of weeks. They were giving him so much football. He was offloading a lot, but he only got 67 points still, which is nice. We just need him not to score any tries in the first few weeks, so he drops a lot of cash. But Yeah, Jackson Ford. So he's the guy there, 59. That is very tempting. If he I think he played 80 minutes or near about. So, and let's look at what do the other mid-rangers get. So Olakau'atu also, he was a guy I was very keen on. He looked incredible. I was shocked he was only on 52 points, but yeah, I guess he didn't really get a try. Probably the tackle breaks weren't as high as usual, but he just shut down Kickout, who got 32 points. Nanai, 27. But if we go down, yeah, Tamalolo, only 43. Frizzell, honestly, Frizzell is also a guy I'm definitely going to keep an eye on because he got knocked out in like the opening half. He's always been a pretty solid Supercoach player, and if his price gets pretty low, could be a good pickup. Josh Curran as well. He got 4 points. He mustn't have played like any minutes. And this is the thing I'm worried about with Jackson Ford though, because Curran is just a better player, surely. Like that's why I'm a little hesitant to bring in forward at the moment. Adam Elliott could drop some decent cash soon. Max King went okay. Mitch Barnett actually looked pretty good. Alex Twirl, 70 points. But we're getting down to like the cheap, the mid-ranges that people were keen on. So Gilbert, 49 points. Yeah, it's okay. He looked pretty bad in that game. He came up with some bad errors. Didn't look great. We have Teague Wilton. He probably went the best out of them. Harawira Naira, I was keen on as well. Only 40 points playing at lock. Fitzgibbon, 74. Raymond Fatala Mariner, only 40 points. Josh King killed it. Then we go down. So Ryan Sutton, I was also keen on in the front row. Thankfully, I didn't go him. I mean, he got 48 points. It's not bad, but it's definitely not anything to write home about. Luke Garner stunk. Tuolangi, he was also a guy pretty heavily talked up. Only 38 points. Nia Corey, 34 points. He didn't really get involved at all. I feel like, I don't know how many minutes he played. He didn't feel like he played many. Ali Katoa got 54. That's pretty solid. He didn't get any attacking stats, so Katoa could be the guy potentially. But without Munster now, like it's just I wouldn't really be that keen to bring in Katoa without their attacking weapons. And then Trent Liero, 47. Yeah, it's okay, but he came up with some pretty bad errors, so I wouldn't be shocked if Liero doesn't keep his spot long term. So yeah, all the mid-range second rowers sort of stunk it up, and I honestly don't really know what I'm gonna do this week because, yeah, again, like I said, I'm actually sort of hoping Butcher gets ruled out through suspension, so I can just trade him out. To, I don't know, maybe we just go down to Schuster just preemptively and get some cash, and then we can decide sort of what we're going to do. Pele, at the moment, we can't even really trade him to Mawale or Ben Murdoch-Masila, so he's probably a hold for just another week. And then the rest of the team is pretty much okay. Like the back line, yeah, there's definitely some guys I wouldn't mind getting in, but at the moment, it's not really plausible. And then the dummy halves, like, I'm giving both these guys another week, obviously, and we'll just see how things shake up after next week. So, yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the round 1 recap here. Hopefully you guys went okay. I mean, we went fine. 1100. It's not too bad for round 1 with some unknowns, a bad captaincy, and just overall, yeah, it was all over the shop. So, hopefully we can come back strong. Week 2, build our way up, because I definitely started weak last year as well. I feel like it was very similar last year, if I'm being honest. But that's the other thing, and I mentioned at the start though. The first couple of weeks it's why I do sort of want to do at least one trade, just so I'm not wasting the first couple of weeks without price changes, so I can really shape the team to be as as streamlined as possible to make money whilst also scoring points. And that's sort of the the nice thing about the opening 3 weeks is that you get free cracks at getting the players in that are gonna do well without the prices being different. So you gotta make most of it, but also not just waste trades for the sake of wasting trades. So it's a fine balance, but yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you in the next one.